What's going on, y'all? It's One Way to Flood. This is another episode of Tone Up Tuesdays. This episode, we're going to be talking about misconceptions about protein, some protein myths. So this isn't going to be a long video. This will be a little quicker video today. But to jump right into it, man. The reason I'm making this video is because I've known this for years. But there are a lot of misconceptions about protein, a lot of misunderstandings. Some people just, aren't, really educated on it. I mean, in a general sense. But I definitely think it's beneficial to know some of this stuff, especially if you are focused on your fitness or health. It kind of takes some of the pressure off you too. The protein thing kind of gets out of hand. I think it's like more of a money thing, but yeah, so let's jump into it. So the first one I have here is you can't get adequate protein from plant sources. This is just not true. Okay, not that I'm like I used to be vegan. I'm not completely vegan anymore. That's another conversation, but you can definitely get adequate protein from plant sources. And a lot of times the argument with this too was that there wasn't complete proteins. And what a complete protein is basically protein that has all nine essential amino acids. Because when your proteins get broken down, they basically get broken down into their amino acid branches of amino acids. And so basically your plant proteins are lacking some of the amino acids that you would need, that you don't produce on their own. That's you have to get from outside sources. However, there are plant sources that have these. So I have two listed here, and there's more. But chia seeds, quinoa, those are two plant sources that have all nine essential amino acids. And the reason why I would recommend these any day over a meat source, you see it here, and this is just a general, very short version, but processed meats are considered a group 1 carcinogen by the World Health Organization. And red meats are considered group 2 carcinogen. So when we're looking at just the oxidative damage or just the work that your body has to do to break these down and get the good stuff out of them, I'm always going to recommend chia seeds or quinoa. Way less work for your body to do. Also has way more antioxidants. It doesn't have, it's not a carcinogen. It's not causing you any oxidative stress. Okay, there's a number of reasons. So it's not so much just the protein and the muscle. It's how is everything working together. What's the cost of my body of getting this protein out of this substance, right? And then remember, your protein, that cow or whatever meat you're eating, that protein is plant derived. So like I said, I'm not even a vegan. I'm just, this is logic, you know what I mean? So I don't get all my protein. So like I said, my other reasons for why I'm not no longer just a vegan. But please believe I don't downplay that at all, or I'm not ignorant to that. I won't tell you that, you definitely get better, cleaner protein sources from plants. It is definitely possible, and probably be more beneficial to you. I can't speak for everybody. There are other things now when it comes to that you can get from animals, fats and different things. So this becomes a much deeper conversation. But as far as just the protein angle, you definitely get adequate protein from plant sources. All right, so moving on though, more protein equals more muscle. So not really. This is a big myth as well. You see people think they gotta eat huge amounts of protein. No, man. Anything your body can't synthesize, basically is going to be turned into, stored as fat, or turned into something else, broken down and used as parts. You know what I'm saying? So you need to understand that a very high, like you'll hear, you need to get a gram of protein per pound of body weight. Like, that's actually fucking crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like that's somebody that's like doing like high level bodybuilding training every day. Like, high level athletes, collegiate athletes can build muscle mass with 0.7 to 0.8 grams of protein. And I'm just using that as a reference because you understand, kind of the work demand there. So, for somebody that's, when it comes to, um, people going through males going through puberty, teenagers, or your football players, or even female. I don't mean to seclude that, but I just say that because that puberty phase is a very active phase. You know what I mean, and the growth, the requirements start to really show themselves in as far as the difference between boys and girls. But if you have a girl playing sports, or what I'm saying, doing all that, but that's a very active, they might need more, more protein, but probably still not even zero point 0.7 to zero point 0.8 grams. That's still crazy. So that can vary, what I'm saying, based on your metabolism, your output, your activity, what you're doing. But coming anywhere close to a gram of protein per pound of body weight, if you are not like working out like 2 to 3 times a day, like, or your metabolism is just, unless it's just you know what I'm saying, you should not be getting anywhere near that much protein. Okay, especially if you're getting it from not so good sources. You know what I'm saying? So if you're getting it from your processed meats, other things, like I said, there are other processes that go on. And if you're eating so much protein, you can also be neglecting other things. So, as with anything, there's a big misconception about this. If you really want to pack on more muscle mass, you want to focus more on calories, right? And good calories, but not so much the specifically on the protein. Okay, it's like a big, like, protein gets big, huge, overhyped. Like, it's important. Don't get me wrong, greatly important. But the amount, like the average person, especially in the United States, does not need more protein. Like, there's very few people that are deficient as but in their protein. You know what I mean? Now people could really benefit from probably changing their sources, right? Because when we look at this stuff on paper, you know what I'm saying, you're not gonna see how all the parts connect. You know what I mean? So the sources do matter. Um, but yeah, so more protein does not necessarily equal more muscle. The big thing to focus on with that is getting optimal protein synthesis. So instead of eating one big meal, instead of eating that huge meal of steak, potatoes, the steak got 70 grams of protein in it, all that. Instead of doing all that, man, kind of space that out, just like with the water. You know what I'm saying? So pretty much allowing your body to do its thing on its end and still stoking that fire. And there is an actual rate, and like I told y'all, this stuff varies with everybody's different, but there's a rate of absorption. I don't actually know it off the top of my head, so I didn't want to just give y'all a number, but y'all can look into that. There is an actual rate of absorption, and you can kind of get an idea. Like I said, everybody's different when we're looking at metabolisms. Your age affects the different things, gender, all these different things. Just how your body, your genes. So many different factors can affect these things. Like I said, everything works together. So when it comes to like I said, trying to build muscle, focus on more so on the calories, and then focus on spacing, kind of spacing out when you're eating. You don't have to eat right after you work out. Okay, that's another kind of like myth. You don't have to eat immediately after we work out. So if you're, for the sake of trying to get something into your body right after you work out, if you're forcing, that go into my next thing, you're forcing down a protein shake or whatever, just go clean yourself up, take your take your time, go home and get a good meal instead. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever you finna do. So, but for the last one, you need protein supplements to get big. I already pointed out, obviously, that you don't need as much protein as society would make you think. But I wanted to make y'all aware, like, into those supplements or like whey protein or the protein shakes or the protein bars, all that little stuff. You got all these processed things in there, preservatives, processed sugars, all this little shit that your body now has to filter out. So you're focused on trying to build a muscle, get the protein out of there, and now your body got to do all this extra work. Remember, the least amount of work possible is what we want when it comes to getting our nutrients, getting our macros from these sources, right? So anything that's adding extra, got a bunch of extra bullshit, ain't no different from taking, over-the-counter drugs or medications, like, versus using holistic remedies. You know what I'm saying? We start looking at the side effects, because on paper, like I said, it's not looking at this stuff. A paper doesn't point out at all, how all the dots are connected. And don't get me wrong, like, there are studies and things that will, you know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is the average person is not looking into this stuff. The average person goes and looks at how, Google's what protein they eat. They see something on Google and boom, you know what I mean? So on paper, it's not showing you all this stuff when you're just doing general searching. So that's this episode of Tone Up Tuesdays, man. Misconceptions about protein. Hopefully I cleared up some protein myths for you. If you have any questions, man, leave them in the comments below. But other than that, man, y'all stay up. It's one way to flood. Say this. Sit by the leash, packed up. No matter who you slipping, it don't matter who you are. Yeah, the facts are, they act strong.